can become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Oppenheimer is a story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. The name might be associated with historical greatness and relevancy, but what Nolan and Cillian Murphy show audiences through, brilliant storytelling, is a man built up by the American people, only to be torn down by the same institutions that he gave every waking hour to. A man driven to the brink by the psychological repercussions of his own actions and achievements. A man betrayed by some of those that were closest to him. That man is J. Robert Oppenheimer. And his story isn't really one of triumph or glory, but more like grueling hard work, mistrust, politics, and the consequences of the conscience of a good man while he aims to build the greatest weapon humankind has ever seen. As they say in the movie, a true Prometheus of the modern age. Let's get right into it. The way this story is told is textbook Nolan. Not linear, but rather jumping from various points of views and time periods. It's a magnificent creative decision using both black and white and color in this film. It really helps audiences to sort of distinguish which timeline they're currently seeing on screen, and the mixture of these two color palettes adds to the intensity and the power being witnessed on screen as well. Oppenheimer's plot would be nothing without some of the best acting performances of the year, and I do not say that lightly. Cillian Murphy, RDJ, to name a few, have both immediately forced their names into Oscar nominations. How could they not with this performance? Cillian especially, his physical performance isn't akin to any I've ever seen, with him having lost a significant amount of weight to the point that he would only eat around an almond a day to get close to Oppenheimer's physique and silhouette. And you could really see that on Cillian Murphy. He really lost quite a bit of weight and seemed so lanky, as Oppenheimer was at the time. Honestly, it's fucking absurd what he was doing. I would definitely not be able to survive on 1 almond a day. What? And to think that he delivered that performance while on barely any food and little to no sleep, it really is a testament to the profound connection that he had with the role and the character. And it just adds to how brilliantly he did that. One particular scene that really hit home for me is that scene where he speaks to the crowd at Los Alamos, where you have the foot stomping sounds. You have that foot stomping throughout the movie as a bit of symbol, and you finally see and hear the roots of that foot stomping. And it's a brilliant scene because it shows the psychological remorse with how the audience transforms into victims of the bombing. You can see Robert Oppenheimer struggling and suffering throughout that whole speech, with his mind only on the bombing that just transpired and him trying to keep it together. It felt so eerie and sinister for me, honestly. That scene is it's really well directed. I also think Cillian Murphy's way of depicting his slow psychological downturn throughout the movie is really interesting, because you see his character go through different spells of realizing the impact that he's having on the world by creating this bomb. He's kind of struggling to come to terms with the fact that this is a weapon that will be used against actual people. And that internal conflict between obviously doing what's right for his country and being patriotic, right? Also struggling to come to terms with the fact that he's going to be killing thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. That would break even the strongest of men, and you can tell in these events and in the depiction of these events that he really is a good man, that ultimately didn't want this weapon to be used, didn't want the hydrogen bomb to be built. So it's very interesting how they frame the moral dilemmas as the movie goes along. Robert Downey Jr. also does a brilliant job as Louis Strauss. I love seeing this sort of performance from RDJ. I think he has amazing depth and variety as an actor, but since he's mostly known for the Avengers franchise, I don't feel like he gets the appropriate respect. Not gonna lie, I'd say he's one of my top 3 favorite actors of the 21st century. Hot take, sure, but I don't care. He's really brilliant, and it shows in this role. I wouldn't be surprised if he won Best Supporting Actor. Look at these scenes, for example. Don't they feel overwhelmingly grandiose to a point that seems kind of beyond comprehension? I think that was a bit the point of the cinematography. Nolan's stubbornness to not use CGI kind of adds to the mystery and lack of understanding that would be attached to something like the first atomic bomb, right? It's not something that should be understood or comprehended, it's just supposed to be feared. And I think that's the effect that he strikes by not using CGI, by not over-picturing the bomb and showing a lot of that first test. You really get that eerie sense of misunderstanding such a huge and potentially catastrophic weapon. The cinematography really is mind-blowing, and the light shots also add to that effect, that made it seem like you were kind of witnessing atomic fusion, fission, kind of witnessing atoms shaking around with those light effects, and it adds to feeling like you're seeing the atomic bomb being made and being created. That's how it felt for me, and it was really, truly brilliant. The sound design and music choices, we gotta talk about that. They add so much to the movie's feeling of vastness and incomprehensibility. All the credit there goes to the composer, Ludwig Göransson. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, I hope. He's actually really well acclaimed and did the score for movies like Tenet, the Rocky series, Creed 1 and 2, as well as Venom, and all of these earning him an Oscar, multiple Grammys, etc. It really shows in the movie what a great composer he is. For example, go listen to Can You Hear the Music by Ludwig Göransson. Imagine the events leading up to the bomb going off and just feel that suspense building inside you while you listen to the song. It's absolutely crazy. I don't understand the technicalities of sound design, nor would I say I'm an expert, but his score truly builds a crazy amount of suspense so incredibly well, putting me on the edge of my seat throughout and increasing that unnerving feeling of doom, forcing you to kind of feel the gravity of the events. The choice to cut the music the second the atomic bomb is first tested is beautiful. As if to tell the audience, come join in, feel how they felt in that moment. And that's how it felt for me. The silence seemingly enduring for minutes, seeing the blinding lights, and then the thunderous shockwave of sound was low-key anxiety-provoking for me. I'm not gonna lie, but it was masterful. The sound design is also really impressive. I recommend you to go watch this in the best quality cinema possible because you'll really feel pulled into the story by how well they did that sound design. The last thing I kind of want to touch on is the historical relevance of the movie. Nolan chose to make a movie about one of the most monumental sequence of events in the past 100 years, the creation of the atomic bomb. A moment that has changed world politics and conflict since then, to the point that World War has become totally unfathomable. So, it's ridiculous how much this sequence of events and this specific weapon has affected humanity's path going forward. And I think when you put the movie into that perspective while you're watching it, it felt amazing to be able to watch those events unfold on screen the way that they did. I also gotta mention some of the cameos. So many different actors were in this movie. You have RDJ, you have Cillian Murphy, obviously, Drake from Drake and Josh, Florence Pugh, so many others that made it into the movie. It was kind of cool just picking them all out. Matt Damon, of course. I have a friend who actually felt like he was sucked out of the movie because there were so many notable names that he recognized. But I didn't really get that feeling. Let me know if you guys felt the same way. But honestly, I think it was really entertaining to see all of those great actors there making a huge cohesive project. And yeah, so it's automatically made itself into my top 15 of films. I gotta be honest. You guys have to go watch it in cinemas whenever you can. I think I might have spoiled what kind of rating I'm gonna give the movie. Obviously, I really enjoyed it, but for my official rating, I'm gonna have to give Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan a 10 out of 10, baby. It really was a masterpiece. There's few things that I could nitpick that they did wrong. I think that's all from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.